Hello audio freaks and sonic geeks, welcome back again, this time to an editing and comping masterclass. I'd like to thank Creative Scotland for supporting this project as always, and what you can see on the screen here are all the vocals for this track I'm working on. The track in the middle of the screen that's coloured grey is another vocal line that I'm adding into the chorus. I've not edited it yet, I just have multiple takes stacked up onto the same track. So this is something you can do in Cubase that you can't do in any other DAWs as far as I know, let me know. I remember last time I was working in Pro Tools, if you took an audio event such as this, and scissor tool, cut it up, and you placed it on top, it would remove what was sitting underneath. So I'll just undo that. That's going to become relevant later. You'll see why that helps me a lot when I'm editing and comping my vocals. So definitely keep that in mind. This track is muted at the moment, and I'll just let you hear what's happening in the chorus. Now I'll mute all those vocals and let you hear one of the new takes. Please listen, don't change your mind on those good times. Need recognition, it's been a long time. When I listen back to these takes, I'm always breaking them down in terms of individual syllables, because I know I can cut out individual syllables and join them together. I'm pretty good at that, and that is what I'm going to show you how to do. So I'm going to cut out all the best sections, join them up together, do some tuning, and walk you through the whole entire process. What I like to do for this is have 3 empty tracks below the track I'm working on, and you'll see why as we move along. I'm going to take all my takes down 2 tracks, put one of them back up here. I need my scissor tool, and I'm going to change my quantize to, let's go for 30 seconds. Zoom in a little bit. I'm more interested in the character of a syllable than I am in how much in tune it is, unless it's radically out of tune, which hopefully very few of my syllables are going to be. The reason for that is I would rather select a syllable or phrase that sounds really full of character. Even if it's a little bit out of tune, I know I can tune it up without anyone noticing. Then I would have a phrase or syllable that's perfectly in tune, but maybe the character has some flaw or a bit of harshness, for example. With that in mind, I'm going to start cutting some things out. Please listen. Don't change your mind on those good times. Don't change your mind on those good times. Need recognition. Need recognition. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Change back to my pointer tool. Okay, you can see what I've taken away. I'm going to drag these down to here. Then I'm going to do the same with the next take, and so on. We'll come back when I have finished cutting up all these takes. I've cut everything up and they're all sitting on this track down here, which is muted. The next thing I want to address very slightly is the timing and the end of events and beginning of events. So here's a little event here, another event, another event. When I cut out a certain syllable, I want to make sure everything's lined up. So what I'm going to do, if you bear with me, is just work through this and you can see what I'm doing. Using this first phrase as an example, where we're all singing "Please listen." Please listen. I've isolated that phrase and made sure all the events are cut in the same place so they all line up with each other. If I want to throw in one syllable, such as this, please listen, or back again, please listen, I can see which one I prefer, which is this one here, obviously. The other one sounds a bit, please listen. It doesn't sound quite right. Just going to delete that one syllable. In terms of the timing versus the vocals that have already been recorded, it's pretty good. There's nothing there in that phrase that's out of sync too much in any of the takes. I'm going to go ahead and keep working my way through this vocal line, and I'll come back for anything that's interesting. On this next phrase, which is "don't change your mind on the good times," I'm going to have to make some rough timing corrections for the moment. I'm going to work through this a little bit and you'll see what I mean. I'm going to explain it as I do it. Don't change your mind. So that's fairly well lined up. I mean, mind is happening a bit early, but not so much that I want to move it at this stage. Same for this one here. That's all fine. Don't change your. Don't change your. Lines up pretty good with what's above it in the blue track here. Don't change your mind. You know, I think I'm going to cut all of these at the end of the word mind. Just making sure everything lines up. This is for when I'm slotting things in and out of place. So I just cut everything in the one there. Again, that's about efficiency. When I'm comparing A, B on 2 takes, I can just slot something over. If everything's cut nicely, then it's very easy to do that. Let's see. It's all good. All good. These are all the same length, so I'm just stacking anything up that starts and ends in the same place. I'm going to keep one up here, because it's don't change your mind on the good times. So I'm taking my scissor tool here, I'm separating out on the from good times, and the reason for that is because a lot of these phrases are out of sync and I'm going to be moving them across. I'll even split up good from times. So on the good times. And on those good times. Correction, on those good times. The main part that I actually want to be comparing to is this one on the top, because that's the main vocal. So I'm going to move that over. So it looks like consistently I came in early with those 2 words. Obviously that's not perfectly aligned, but we'll get to that later. If I wanted to be slightly more accurate, I could change my quantize value, but that should be okay for now. I'm working through these words, just lining them up one at a time. Again, another thing I find handy about Cubase, I can't speak for other DAWs, if you drag one event on top of another, you can still see it's partly transparent. What's happening underneath is made available to you, which makes it easier to line things up. Let's do a wee cut here and here. That's me got the whole first line of the chorus. Please listen, don't change your mind on those good times. And obviously you can hear the crossover here is repeated, but we'll fix that later. Don't change your mind on those good times. I'm not deleting anything yet, I'm just lining everything up. You can see what I've done for the first line. As I said, when we work through this, you'll see how beneficial it is. It speeds everything up later, even though it's a bit of a pain to have to do this in preparation. All my takes are cut up and ready to be selected, so I'm just going to work through this and talk you through it again as I'm doing that. We'll start with the first word. That one's not as good. I mean, that's a really nice clean one, so I'm going to move that up to the top here. Not as good, I don't think, but I'm going to keep it just now just in case. Sometimes the one you think is best doesn't necessarily sound the best when you unmute all the other vocals. That one's a little bit kind of foggy sounding, a little bit wavery, not as smooth syllable. Please. That one's going please. There's a slight waver to that one as well. Please. That one's kind of straight, but maybe a little bit forced. I'm going to keep it though, because the vocals in the chorus are a little bit forceful. Please. That one's just a little bit muffled. Please. Don't like the waver in that. Please listen. Please. That one could be okay. Please. A little bit of hoarseness. Please. Which might be okay. We'll see in a while. Please listen. Something about the character of that I don't like. Please listen. That one's okay, but again, I've got a few up there that are definitely better than that. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options for please. Okay. Now we're on to listen. So let's move these out of the way. Just keep one that's isolated. I think the best thing to do is cut everything out on le. And I can stack up my pleases. Please. Let's start with the best one. Please. That one's might be that one. Please. 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 Okay. Let's put this one on top. Please listen. I mean, I guess while I'm doing this, I might as well separate the individual syllables the way this particular line is going. So that's how we're going to play it. Let's stack everything up. Okay. Please listen. Don't like that. Le. Please listen. That one's okay. Please listen. That one's good. Definitely better than the one underneath. Please listen. That one can go. Please listen. That's nice. Please listen. It's a bit boomy. Please listen. That one's okay, but there's something a wee bit flawed in the character. Please listen. That one's a bit I don't even know how to describe it, but I tend to feel things with my ears as well as hear them, and there was just something wrong with the feeling there. Please listen. That one's okay, but it's a little bit like the pitch goes le. Please listen. And when it comes to tuning things like that, using Antares auto-tune, which we'll get into later, I don't think that's going to work out. Please listen. Smooth. Please listen. That one's real nice. Please listen. And that one's got some sort of boominess or some sort of standing frequency, I don't know. I think the way people sing has such a massive effect, every syllable, you know. So for listen, first syllable of listen, we have 4 options. So please listen. We'll keep that one on top. Next syllable. Please listen. That's quite nice. I did a vibrato in that syllable, whereas the vocals that it's going to be stacked with don't have a vibrato, so I need to bear that in mind as well. Please listen. I like that. Please listen. I more went less on, so it's coming out a little bit bassy. Please listen. That one's okay. Please listen. Please listen. That's quite nice. Please listen. A little bit too vibrato-y. Please listen. You can hear the character changes from syllable to syllable, so you always need to bear this in mind if you're cutting out things by syllable. Please listen. It's a bit too much of a change of character. Please listen. That's good. Please listen. That one's quite nice, even though it's vibratoed. Please listen. Too much of a change of character. So, second syllable of listen. 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 That one's hoarse. Listen. That one's quite straight. Listen. I think that's too much of a change of character. Please listen. Although once it's stacked, it might be alright. I'm not sure. Please listen. Okay, let's keep that one on the top, I think. Oh, no, let's get something that's a bit more straight on the top without the vibrato. Listen. 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 I think it's this one. Listen. Okay, not very much vibrato in that, so just for a bit more consistency. Please listen. So as I said, I'm going to make the final decisions once I start listening to them together with the vocals that are now muted up here at the top. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still quite a lot of options. I know this is quite a long drawn out process, but it is a masterclass, so I'm not trying to hide any of my techniques here. You're seeing everything that I do when I'm working to the highest possible end that I can. Something to think about. Obviously I've done multiple takes of this that I'm now cutting up. I did them all in a quick succession right after each other, and while I was singing it, I know the way that I edit, and I wanted to make sure I kind of sang it pretty much the same way every time with just a little bit of variation to give me plenty of options that I can cut together. And next thing I'm going to do is line up everything a bit better, because I've whittled down all my syllables and all my phrases, but there's still a few to choose from. Best way to do this, I think, is as follows. The top here I've got my snap on and off, so for those of you that don't know, if it snaps off I can move it anywhere. If the snap's on, it jumps to the interval as specified up here. Undo. J also switches snap on and off in Cubase, so I'm going to be using that a lot. Snap off, line it up, drag it down while holding control and it won't move horizontally. Snap back on again. Snap off. Snap on. I think I'll zoom out a little bit. And so on. I'm going to do that for every syllable. That's all done, and the reason I wanted to do that is because it makes it really easy to slot things in now, and you can get a cleaner representation of what the syllables are going to sound like joined together, whether they flow well together, whether it sounds like a natural thing that the average listener would not even know has been edited. So I've got all my essentials here. I'm going to duplicate that at this point. It's well worth making a backup. So in Cubase you can duplicate by holding Alt and it creates another copy of it. Obviously there's copy and paste and all that stuff as well. I'm going to sling it out the way. and now I am ready to go through and do my comparisons. Please listen. Please. Don't like that, it's a bit tinny. Please listen. That one's quite good actually. Please listen. It's a little bit wavery. Please listen. It's a little bit dull. So now we've got two. Please listen. So that please and le go together, but you might have noticed that this please and le doesn't go together. Please listen. They don't sound good together. I think the best thing to do is get listen done. So let's just move please out the way. Listen. Listen. I don't like that one. Thing is, if I've got listen done, then I'll get please to match listen, as opposed to what I was thinking there chronologically. I'm also bearing in mind that the listen I sang here versus the main vocal, the first syllable of le is longer, so I should really cut that back, take more of this. It'll sound slightly unnatural, but you'll still get an idea. Listen, listen, listen. Don't like that one, there's something tinny about it. Listen. Okay, so it's going to be one of these. Listen. That one's nice. Listen. I think that's my favourite, but I'll keep that in reserve. So the please now needs to match that. Please listen. Please listen. Those two sound more natural together. Something else I can do here in Cubase, I can click an event, and if I scroll up here to volume, I can just mouse wheel up. This one needs a couple of decibels to make a fair comparison. Please listen, don't you? Please listen. So that's a better match. Please listen. So I'm going to move this down out the way. Let's hear it with the main vocal. Please listen. So sounding quite good there. Last syllable of listen. Please listen. Please listen. Different character for that one. I think I'm just going to move it out the way just now. Please listen. That's a slightly different character, but it's nice. I think for this syllable I'm going to need to check it with the main vocal on and see what sits best. Please listen. But first of all I'm just going to run through them. Please listen. Nah. Please listen. Doesn't match. So it's going to be one of these two, I think. Please listen. Slightly on the quiet side, I'm just going to mouse wheel up one for that. Please listen. Same for that. Please listen. Okay, let's see with the main vocal on now. Please listen. Please listen. I think that's a better match. The timing's slightly out somewhere. Please listen. Let's see. Let's move it up a tiny bit. See if that makes better sense, because it's distracting me. Please listen. Don't. Please listen. Tough choice. Please listen. Oh no, that's definitely a better one. Right, let's get rid of that. Let's hear some of the ones that I moved down the bottom just as curiosity. Please listen. I mean, that's quite a good match in terms of it going with the main vocal, but it breaks up the flow of the new vocal because please listen. It's just a completely different character. Please listen. Yeah, it's not sitting right at all. Please listen. That sounds good except for the vibrato isn't matching. Please
listen.
Normally I wouldn't bother going through these, I would have deleted them by now, but I just wanted to let you hear this for your own benefit, hopefully.
Please listen. Please listen.
It kind of drops off in energy, that one.
Please listen.
Again, that one's got vibrato and a change of tone as well.
Please listen.
The vibrato really doesn't match either, so here we go. This is my favourite.
Please listen.
It's a great match. Just for your own curiosity.
Please listen.
So that doesn't match at all.
Please listen. Please listen. Please listen.
I think that's the best one. Let me just knock this down by a decibel, knock this down by 2.
Please listen. Please listen.
It's a very tough choice, so I'm going to decide that later.
Please listen.
You get the idea. Again, I'm going to work my way on through the rest of this vocal line and come back to you with my next set of tips when I'm done. That's done and dusted, and it sounds like this.
Please listen. Don't change your mind on those good times. Need recognition. It's been a long time.
Now we need to join these parts together. So let's solo the track. I'm going to walk you through this whole process now. This is the most important part. We can zoom in horizontally and vertically. Looks good. I think this is a little bit early. Better. This is quite an easy crossfade because it's on an S sound. I say that, but we're about to find out. I'm going to change my snap to 128ths now. There's the S starting. You can see the waveform becomes a little bit fuzzy, so if you've had experience you'll recognise that as an S. This looks like a good connection point here.
Please listen.
Let's just solo the new track again.
Please listen.
This is an interesting one for you. So the S is quite long on the main vocal. It starts here. This is a little bit on the late side. Let's just bring it back. Now we can move that out the way. We want to get the end of this word. Move out the way and back, and now it's on top. And to put that crossfade in again. Okay, we need to get the end of the phrase. So snap on. Because we're going to want to connect that over here.
Listen. Listen.
So it sounds a bit weird just now.
Listen.
That's too much. We're just going to want to catch the very end. So we're looking at phase here. The waveforms are quite different, but we want to try and line them up as best we can. Let's go for the next big peak. Yeah, that's a tricky one to start off with. A lot of the time when you're doing things like this on the one word, the waveforms marry up a lot better than that. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work out. If it doesn't work out, there's another thing we can do.
Listen.
Actually sounds quite good. Snap back on. And let's line up this word a bit better. Probably looking at round about here. I think we can crossfade in this box. X to crossfade in Cubase when you've got two events selected. Let's see what that sounds like.
Listen. Listen.
That's good. First three words.
Please listen.
First three syllables, I should say. That sounds good.
Please listen. Please listen.
Perfecto. Don't change your mind. I'm going to separate out my words here. That's important for timing. One thing I'm going to mention that we'll come to is this, your mind. When I was selecting that, I wanted the same bit. See, those were the same two bits, but the timing's different. That'll make connecting something like this easier.
Your mind.
So you can hear the wee click there.
Your mind.
But a couple of syllables to do first, so don't change. I'd say that looks quite good. Yep. Okay, what have we got here? Crossfade this.
Don't you?
There's a wee funny sound there, but it doesn't matter.
Don't you?
It's barely noticeable and it doesn't sound actually unnatural. So, that's don't. Now we want change. Looks good. That looks like an easy crossfade. I'm just doing this one with the snap off.
Don't change your. Don't change your mind. Don't change your.
Okay. Now on the GE of change, that's where these waveforms become a little bit fuzzy. See that? This is a tricky one because the word "your" in this new part is quite a different shape to the main vocal up here. I think we're going to need to mess around with this a little bit, possibly. Let's see what the timing's like.
Don't change your mind. Don't change your mind.
That sounds a little bit late. Let's pull that back a little bit. Let's see what that sounds like.
Don't change your mind.
That sounds good. Is that the same one? It is the same one, which is good, because when it's the same one and you're extending a note very slightly, as we'll be here, what you'll find is that the phase of the waveforms lines up really nicely. And you get a nice smooth extension of the note, which is imperceptible.
Don't change your mind.
Okay. Now this is the tricky one, because there's really quite a big difference there, and it's on the mind. So let's open these out, zoom back, and you want to crossfade them in the area where the waveforms are roughly the same volume. So see the volume's rising, and it peaks around there, which is the same as over here. And once it peaks, it doesn't really fall away again. So if we're zooming in, timing's good versus the original vocal. But we want to go and look at the phase again. And just for this instance, we're going to take it to the nearest one, which is just back a little bit. And we'll have a little listen to see if that's timing up well with the main vocal.
Don't change your mind, no. Don't change your mind, no.
I think that's pretty good.
Don't change your mind, no. Don't change your mind. Don't change your mind.
Yep, it is good. There's just a little click at that connection point because I've not crossfaded it yet, and that was throwing me off slightly. But as soon as I do this crossfade, which should sound hopefully imperceptible.
Don't change your mind.
There's a slight,
Don't change your mind.
very slight jitter on it.
Don't change your mind. No. Don't change your mind.
Let's hear it with the music behind it.
Don't change your mind. No, no. Don't change your mind. No, no.
Am I happy enough with that is the question. I want to try moving this up one space. See if I prefer that.
Don't change your mind. Don't change your mind. No, no's good. Don't change your mind. No.
That's a bit smoother.
Don't change your mind. No. Don't change your mind.
Excellent. Very happy with that. Let's solo this again. And next word.
Change your mind. No, no's.
What's this? So this is a tricky one because this is not going to marry up with that. They're two different. So I'll show you how we deal with that in a moment. First, I'm going to line this up. So this is two words. I'm just going to line up to the second word and see what that sounds like.
Change your mind on those good.
That little bump there is throwing me off.
Change your mind on those good. Change your mind on those good.
So, what can we do about this gap? Well, we can't pull this back, like I say, because it's too different. I don't think that's going to work.
Change your mind on those.
Oh, would you believe it? It's actually fine. See, what I was going to do if that didn't work is I was going to cut this here and extend that out to the point where I could make a connection over on the right here. And that would have worked as well, but I'm not going to need to do that because that actually sounds pretty good. So all I'm going to need to do is join a couple of rotations of the phase, which is lining up quite well. Yeah, to the end of this little bump. That should be hopefully imperceptible.
Change your mind on those.
Yep. Excellent.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
Good times, that's easy because there's just a little gap. Obviously just the G of good I was lining up there. Let's crossfade it here. And I think it's going to be same for times. Yep, just need to pull that back a bit. See where I want to crossfade that. I think maybe over here.
Mind on those good times.
There are a couple of tuning issues, but as I said earlier, we're going to get to that.
Change your mind on those good times.
On the whole, sounding really good so far. So that's us halfway through the chorus.
Please listen, don't change your mind on those good times.
Okay, need recognition.
Need recognition.
Okay, let's see. Drag out the way. Because it's behind there, you see. I want it to be on top. This is a little bit of a tougher one again. We're dealing with quite radically different shapes here for the waveforms.
Need recognition.
Doesn't sound too bad, you know. I think I'm gonna just do it like that. Snap is turned on just now, by the way, but if you hold control, it ignores that the snap's turned on. If I let go of control, it'll snap. So let's just do that, see what that sounds like.
Need recognition.
It sounds good.
Need recognition.
Sounds excellent.
Need recognition.
Okay, this syllable should hopefully be easy. Zoom in. Just want to line up. Maybe there, because the k of the C is quite long here, and this one's short. So somewhere around either side of that looks like it might line up well.
Need recognition.
Excellent. Crossfades. Let's have a look.
Need recognition.
Excellent.
Need recognition.
Nishin.
Recognition.
Again, this one's longer. I could shorten it, but I think that's over the top, even by my standards. So let's just get it sounding like it's lining up well.
Recognition.
To rewind it a bit.
Need recognition.
That sounds good. It's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. So I do want to line up the phase here. Move it forward slightly. Looks good. Let's hear it by itself.
Need recognition.
Perfect.
Need recognition.
Last syllable of this phrase.
Need recognition.
Let's say that's slightly early. Move up to the next.
Need recognition.
Nice, okay. Now we've got two sh in recognition. Got one sh here. When you've got two events meeting, we'll look at the cursor change to that. You can drag them both across at the same time. So this way I can see which sound I prefer.
Need recognition.
It's got a bit of a tiny whistle in it.
Need recognition.
Just a slight one. So let's see if the other one's better.
Need recognition.
I think I'm going to prefer that one.
Need recognition. Need recognition.
Beautiful, baby. Let's zoom in a bit further, because when that starts peaking here, I don't want that. With sounds like sh, You can get away with crossfading them almost anywhere for the most part, so you can figure that out for yourselves. It's generally a lot easier to crossfade over a sh sound than a vowel sound, for example.
Need recognition. Need recognition.
That note goes on a bit long. Let's change that now.
Need recognition.
You can see it starts tapering off here. Let's cut it as it's tapering off. Okay. We can have that end somewhere around here. Let's see how we get on with this crossfade. The phases are not lining up, but quite a good thing to do is you just refer to the main vocal that you're lining up with. So that tapers off from here. I didn't mean to extend that out, I meant to move it over. Let's do it over 3 blocks and see what that sounds like.
Ignition.
Totally natural. You can cut it off there and give it a little fade out.
Recognition.
It's been a long time, and it has. I hope you're getting a lot out of this. These are some of my biggest editing secrets I'm giving you today, so if you've made it this far, well done. You can definitely apply this to any DAW, although you'll need to figure out, there'll be some differences. Like I say, the main one for me is you can overlap things in Cubase without interfering with what you've overlapped. It's quite a short
It's been,
which means that the S here is arriving a bit too early, and I'd like for that not to happen if possible. This is a tricky one, because the waveform rises, then falls.
Hit beat.
Where to crossfade? Well, there's the crest, and by that point the crest is kind of ending the one underneath. Let's see if there's anything in this area that's going to crossfade successfully. Tricky. Maybe we can get away with this. We'll find out in a moment.
It's been.
What do you know? So I've extended that out a good bit. You would never hear it even just listening to that vocal by itself.
It's been.
Okay, been. I'm going to line up the ends. That's maybe around here. That looks good. Let's see what it sounds like.
It's been a long.
Sounds good.
It's been a long.
It's been a. See what that sounds like roughly?
It's been a long.
Roughly speaking, it's in the right position. Let's see where we can do this crossfade. I think if I have to choose, I want to move it forward slightly. I'd have to move it forward a fair bit. These are not lining up great. But I think from here here looks good, but does it sound good?
It's been a long.
I mean, it is a slight jump, but
It's been a long.
almost imperceptible.
It's been a long.
I guess because you know it's there, you can hear a very slight difference, but that's definitely going to do the job. Just 2 words left to go. Again, quite a difference in the waveform. What you've got, that's it's been along. So this little dotted line here, that's roughly where the L opens up into the O.
Been a long. Been a long.
I think the best thing to do is take the peak of this, line them up with the peaks there, 2 peaks behind, and then see where we can do this crossfade. It's going to be possibly tricky. Let's line them up together. Well, that's good because from the take on the left, long doesn't start till way over there. If it started early, it would be more difficult to connect. It's not going to connect on that side. Let's hear if it's in the right position first.
Been a long. Been a long. Been a long.
Pretty good, even though there's a slight tuning issue, I'm still noticing that. We'll definitely fix that very soon. Where can we do our crossfade now? Really, we don't want to go any further back than that.
Been a long.
I think we can move it forward into position there. Can go for that, see what happens.
Been a long.
It's not 100% natural, but it's not too bad at all.
Been a long.
Obviously, if it was a main vocal just sitting by itself, might not get away with that unless you're going real heavy on the auto-tune like people in trap music do.
It's been a long time.
Now for this last word time, I'm going to do what I did with another word earlier to shorten it. This one here. I'm going to shorten that. The other thing I'm noticing about that is that for the main vocal, the pitch on time dips down then comes back up again quite quickly. Whereas in this new one that I've recorded and this last one that sounded best and selected, the pitch dips down and then takes quite a while to come back up again. So I'm probably going to tune that before I shorten it. That would be the best thing to do for this one.
Time.
And it's not smooth, dip down and rise up in pitch, but once you get quite experienced with your tuning plugin, you can sort that out as well.
Time.
So it's going to need to come back up in pitch more quickly and it's going to need to get shortened. I'm going to do my wee crossfade. Or possibly not. I'm not going to crossfade this because you can see that one's not finished. That one starts, so I'm actually better. You can mouse wheel over the fade out and mouse wheel up the fade in. Let's see what that sounds like.
Long time.
Okay, I didn't actually check to see if... Yeah, that should be a bit further forward.
Long time.
Okay. So I'll just take that up to the end. Give it a little fade out. that's it. I've worked all the way through that chorus vocal. I am going to make a duplicate copy of it. Just move it down out the way. Last thing I want to do before I bounce it, I'm just going to get a little bit of empty space. That's because it's lined up by the bar when I'm moving it around, and I'm all the way zoomed out. It's good to be snapped to the bar. Now we can go bounce selection. For tuning, I use Antares Auto Tune. I've got a shortcut because I use it quite a lot. I use it destructively. Destructively means you're changing the actual audio, whereas if you're just using it like a regular plugin, then it processes the tuning every time you're playing that bit of audio. It sends it through that effect. It doesn't actually write the audio. I know I've got my backup copy if anything goes wrong. I bring up Antares Auto Tune Pro like that. It's still showing the very last thing I did, which was before I started recording this video. I'm going to clear the pitch correction objects. Generally speaking, your input type, if it's a voice, low male seems to pick up the pitches a lot better than any of the other options, so I generally have that on low male when I'm tuning a male voice. So first you need to audition the selection of audio, so click on pitch, click on play.
Please listen.
Let's look at the important things here. Retune speed's important. Throat length is important, and then these tools here are important. Draw line, pointer, zoom, and the drag tool. These are the ones I always tend to use. So first let's zoom in.
Please listen.
I'm not going to need to adjust the retune speed for that. Throat length, I want to tell you about throat length. It's really important. If you're tuning a note down, you generally want to make the throat length shorter. If you're tuning a note up, you want to make it longer. Having said that, there's other ways you can use throat length, and I hope I get an opportunity with this to show you how to do it. But let's work our way through, and if not, I will find one. Let's hear that first one.
Please listen.
I just said that thing about throat length.
Please listen.
So you can listen.
Please listen.
Whereas if you go the other way,
please listen,
just makes it sound deeper even though it's the same note. There are ways to get words that you've married together that don't 100% tonally match up using this throat length. It's such a powerful part of this effect. But if you're using auto-tune yourself, you can play around with that, hopefully using these techniques that I've showed you. I like to get part of these lines to marry up. I mean, it should really be please listen, like straight notes, but I've risen up to listen.
Please listen.
I'm going to increase the retune speed a little bit.
Please listen.
You're getting more of the peak of the pitch. See how this pitch, the red line, is the original pitch, and it was rising, rising, rising until it hits the note B that it's supposed to hit. But the green is what autotune is changing it to. So you're getting more of the actual note that you want, like this.
Please listen.
I'm still not happy with please yet, but I'll get back to that in a minute. This is quite good. I'm just going to put a bit of pitch at the front of that. A bit longer maybe. Maybe round it off. That was unnecessary.
Please listen. Please listen.
Happy with that. Okay, let's go back to the beginning here and see. I can figure out what it is I'm not happy with. I think this blue line that I've painted it in the wrong place. Should really have that following the slant that was already there. And then let's go for quite extreme on the retune speed. Just make sure I'm starting off on the red line.
Please listen.
Okay, so you're starting to hear a bit of that trappy kind of auto-tune. That's because my retune speed is too fast.
Please listen.
Not too bad for a backing vocal, that's okay I think.
Please listen.
You can hear now the throat length is actually brightening it up.
Please listen.
So I went too far in -5. Let's try -4.
Please listen.
I think I was happy with the -3 there. So let's apply that. Now you can hear that with the main vocal.
Please listen. Don't change your mind on those good times.
If you've made it this far watching the video, you're probably going to watch the rest of it anyway, so I'll walk you through the entire chorus, backing vocal here. Clear all pitch correction objects, and let's hear this next phrase.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
You hold control, you zoom out. You don't hold control, you just draw a square, you zoom in. It's quite strange how the line's broken there.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
So I'm not happy with how long it takes to rise to the note. So we start here and let's follow that and see if that's not too extreme.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
So you're getting a don't, slightly robotic sound. Increase the throat length, we might be able to take that away.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
So it's sounding a bit too unnatural. I'm going to scrap that idea. So just delete that and we'll make the curve not quite as aggressive. You won't go quite as far in the retune speed.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
It's still sounding a bit unnatural. See if we can do this with the throat length.
Don't change your mind on those good. Don't change your mind on those good times.
So you can definitely hear the difference there, going from a throat length of 0.
Don't change your.
Hear that artificial sounding, maybe up to 6.
Don't change your mind on those good times. Don't change your
There we go.
mind on those good times.
I can even increase the retune speed slightly.
Don't change your mind on those good times. Don't change your mind on those good times. Don't change your
Well, that sounds best. Okay, hand tool.
Don't change your mind on those good. Don't change your mind on those good times.
I'm going to try moving back to 7 on this throat length.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
What note is that supposed to be? Supposed to be a D. Dropped all the way down the octave to B. Then let's see what happens if I rise up to D a little bit aggressively.
Don't change your mind on those good. Don't change your mind on those good times.
Being very aggressive with my tuning speed here.
Don't change your mind on those good times. Don't change your mind on those good times. Don't change your mind on those good times.
Bit of vibrato here.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
I'm going to show you one of my top secret tips for dealing with vibrato like this, where it's a little bit inconsistent. You can see the vibrato is not rising and falling to the same pitch. It's a bit too inconsistent for this kind of backing vocal and this kind of track. So what you do, first of all, I've got my pitch snapped so that I'll automatically snap to the semitones when I'm drawing it in. So I'm just following the shape just now. Don't worry about the pitching just yet. Let's get all of these nodes and then drag it down. As I said, the red lines are the original pitch and the green lines are the pitch after it's done its application. So we want the green peaks to line up on a vertical scale. This one's a little bit problematic, but it doesn't matter. As long as we're roughly in the ballpark, it should sound quite good.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
Alright, these curves here is on those.
Don't change your mind on those good times. Don't change your mind on those good times. Don't change your mind on those good times.
Increase the throat length just for on those.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
One more again.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
Okay, good times.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
I do prefer it with or without that.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
I prefer it with. It's dipping very slightly, and I'm going to shorten the throat length.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
Back to 0.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
Sounds better. A bit sharp on times.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
That's quite nice. Let's try a throat length of -2.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
That's too much, I think.
Don't change your mind on those good times.
Nice.
Please listen. Don't change your mind on those good times.
Very good. Need recognition.
Need recognition.
It sounds like it's pretty well in. Let's have a closer look. Very nice. Just went slightly sharp.
Need recognition.
Well, having said that, I'm not sure.
Need recognition.
I might prefer just to let it go sharp.
Need recognition.
Oh, it's more the way I've sung it than what the autotune's doing.
Need recognition. Need recognition. Need recognition. Need recognition.
Just going to leave it like that. Recognition again. That's pretty good pitching.
Need recognition.
Throat length shorter.
Need recognition.
Nah. I'm not sure if this step's necessary for this one. I might just leave that, but let's see.
Need recognition.
It sounds totally natural, so I'm just going to keep it. Again, I just want more of the note that I was aiming for.
Need recognition. Need recognition.
Again, sounds totally natural, so playing around with your throat length and your retune speed, you can get very natural results. Draw one line across, see what that sounds like.
Need recognition.
So you can hear the auto-tuning effect slightly.
Need recognition.
Especially at this first part of the note when it's pulled the pitch down quite significantly. Actually, do we double click here? It gives me an extra node, and I can maybe just shorten the throat length for that first part of the note and see if that works out.
Need recognition.
It sounds alright. Let's go for that.
Need recognition. Need recognition.
If you remember back to what I said about the last word, time, and all the changes I wanted to do to that, I'm going to do that one separately. So it's been a long.
It's been a long.
We've gone a bit sharp on that first note. I think we'll just try the straight line and fast retune speed. See, I can be quite aggressive.
It's been a long.
Again, sharp, but instead of doing the straight line this time, do a little line up to it. Well, this is going to be interesting to show you how to deal with this. First of all, get that married up. Zoom out. So I've drawn a straight line, but the result is still a rise and fall in pitch. You can just take the beginning down and the end up. Instead of using your retune speed to make it more aggressive tuning, I often find for situations like this will sound more natural.
It's been a long. It's been a long. It's been a long.
I'm going to try shorter throat length.
It's been a long.
Nah. Okay, next. Follow the line. I think I'm just gonna go all the way over to here and see what that sounds like.
It's been a long.
Little bit artificial sounding. Let's pull back that retune speed.
It's been a long.
Still a bit artificial sounding. The problem is that this line I've drawn, well, part of it's pulling the pitch down and this part's pulling the pitch up. So what I'm going to do is just rethink that. I'm holding control over the last note there and pulling it back. We'll draw a separate one in over on the right hand side here, which means that I can then look at throat length individually for that. First of all, I'm going to marry this up. Then back to here. So I pulled the pitch down, means I should want the throat length shorter.
It's been a long. It's been a long. It's been a long. It's been a long.
Maybe it only needs one.
It's been a long.
That sounds good. I'm not going to bother with this rise and fall here. I'm just going to concentrate on the main pitch. Up at the B. Falling down to an A. It's going to take a minute. You click and drag off the side of the screen until you get to the end of the note. I guess I've started doing a bit of a vibrato there, so I'm just going to paint that in. Zoom in. I want it to start falling a bit earlier. Nice smooth transition from B down to A. Now let's go over to where I've painted in the vibrato. I'm not happy with the way I zoomed in there. That's better. Okay, now I can see what I'm doing on the vertical scale. Again, just getting this to line up halfway between the semitones. It's the green line I'm concentrating on, remember? I can move over a little bit. I've got another node here that I painted in. It's for this eventuality. Okay, that's not bad. Let's zoom out and see what it sounds like.
It's been a long...
Okay, something weird is going on at the end. It's probably because this is tuning little funny sounds that I made. So I'll pull that node in. And bean, I'm not happy with the word bean.
It's been a long...
Apart from that, it sounds not too bad.
It's been a long...
So bean sounds a bit too... like the throat length needs to be longer.
It's been a long...
That sounds more natural. What have I done here again?
It's been a long...
I'm going to return that to 0.
It's been a long...
That sounds good.
It's been a long time.
So we're listening to the main vocal. We want the pitch of time to rise up on this new vocal more quickly. So let's hear the main vocal on this word.
Time.
Verses.
Time.
So it should have dipped and come back up by now. So here I've got time, but you can see when I sang it, I've not really dipped that much. And then when I'm coming back up, it's quite sharp. Rise, and that sharp as well, I go back up beyond the note. I think what we really want is going to be something like dipping down, coming back up by about here. Let's guess on that. We're not going to be wanting to go down a whole semitone. Well, maybe we are.
Time.
I think we've come back up too quickly. So let's move that over.
Time.
Let's see what that sounds like with the main vocal at the same time.
Time. Time.
Timing's good.
Time. 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 Time.
Until you bounce it down, auto-tune keeps your corrections in, so you can just go and adjust it. Basically, I thought it was falling down and rising up just a bit too slowly, so let's try it this way.
Time. Time.
One more look at it. The rising up can happen a bit more slowly. Try that.
Time. Time.
That's good. Last thing I want to do is shorten the word time. So we're going to go back to our 128ths. It looks like it should be tapering off. I mean, if I were to taper off there, what's the main vocal doing? A kind of vibrato thing at the end, whereas I do this weird breathy thing, which I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to leave that in. What I want to do is I want to get rid of that first, then I'll figure out where to put it. Do you know, there might be a simpler way to do this. Just take it up to this line and just give it a nice long fade out. That might actually do the job. I don't like the shape of the fade out. Here's a little trick for you. I just duplicated that. It doesn't really matter what happens with it. I'm going to change this to beat because all I need to do is take one section of it, make a crossfade. This is a good tip for Cubase users. You double click on that crossfade, you can change the shape of it. So we want it fading out faster. Let's try that, and you can delete that and you've got a different shape of crossfade. I don't like that either, but a good tip that was, nonetheless. So undo. Let's see what it's like with the music in. That's not going to be up nearly as loud as that, so probably still louder it's going to be, and let's put the third vocal on. Please listen, don't change your mind on those good times. Need recognition. It's been a long time. Sounds pretty good. Let's put all the backing vocals on as well. In fact, let's just hear all the vocals. Please listen, don't change your mind on those good times. Need recognition. It's been a long time. Please listen, don't change your mind on those good times. Need recognition. It's been a long time. So, still a bit of tweaking, mixing to do on this track in general. But there you go, that is your audio editing, comping masterclass. I hope it's been really useful for you. I feel like I've given away some of my very special secrets. So if you're going to use them, good luck to you. Let me know what you think. And if you've got a different way of doing things, let me know as well. I think that's enough and all from me for now. So signing out, sayonara.